Welcome to the Cashflow Ninja, the podcast sharing how to create and grow income streams and manage, multiply, and protect your wealth in the new economy. Are you tired of trading your time for money? Do you desire freedom today instead of retirement in 10, 20, or 30 years? I'm MC Laubscher, and this is the Cashflow Ninja. Grant, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Cashflow Ninja, man. I like the name.
Yeah, I love your work, and I've been a massive fan for a while, and I've been working with your company for a while, so this is a huge honor for me. First thing I want to touch on is the 10X Growth Con. For listeners and viewers out there that's not familiar about this right now, you should be. It was an amazing event with over 36,000 people. You were jumping out of a plane. We had celebrities there, Snoop Dogg, all this stuff, and I just kept thinking, how did he pull this off? What are some of the biggest takeaways that you take from that, looking back now, of the things that you had in place and things that you could make and adjustments you can make on the fly to pull it off?
Well, first of all, like doing an event that big with that many people, it's a huge undertaking. And we learned so much from doing it. We've never done anything that big. The biggest event we had ever done was one time we did 9,000, almost 10,000 people in Las Vegas. And then we decided to bring this back to Miami and do a stadium, Marlins Stadium, right? So, look, we just, I mean, the biggest takeaway I had in this thing was when you do something that big and pull it off, the victory, the happiness, the joy, the camaraderie, so many people benefited from that. Forget the attendees that came, the people, because everybody got their money worth, right? We over-delivered 10X. But my team was part of something that's the largest conference ever held in the United States.
It was huge. Where to go from here? What's the vision? What's in store? Where does this end? Because it just keeps getting bigger, right?
Yeah. So we're getting ready to go worldwide now. So it definitely got some people that have been communicating with us about doing things off the proverbial sticking point, the fence, you know. So like I'm going next month. I go to Bucharest, Singapore, and Malaysia. So it definitely sped up. I mean, that's the thing that people don't know when they're getting in business, right? Which is really important, I think, to your listener. And this is why cash flow is so necessary. To do an event that big, you have to have cash flow. If I did not have cash flow from my real estate business and from 2 or 3 of my primary, we probably own 14 little businesses and partnerships today. If you don't have cash flow, stable cash flow from 3 or 4 of them, you can't take those chances, particularly if you're a responsible person, you know, which most of your listeners are highly responsible to the point of a default. Right. So without cash flow, and I talk about this all the time, cash is not king. Cash flow is king.
Yep.
Cash flow doesn't just allow you to buy stuff. It gives you the confidence to go into expansion. And I think that there's not enough shows, not enough people talking actually about pure money. Just how do I actually manage money? I know they don't teach it in schools. Elon Musk isn't talking about it, you know. The guys on Wall Street aren't talking about it. You see companies like Netflix lose money for 7, 8, 9 years. It's not duplicatable to a household, right? So how do we do it? How does everyday people do events, little, big, whatever, run their business, start a network marketing distribution network, run an all-estate firm, a plumber, contractor. Everyday normal people, how do they do it without cash flow? They don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the things that we've had on the show as well, just as you mentioned, because cash flow provides certainty, right? Yeah. And it's immediate feedback loop right there, so you can make adjustments. And to your point, you know the certain amount of cash flow coming in. Now I can take an opportunity like that and go big if you want. And you absolutely pulled it off.
And not just go big, but you can actually use the cash flow to create more cash flow.
Right.
I mean, that is the point of cash flow. See the thing. I mean, we could do like 15 shows just on this topic and never leave the topic.
Yeah.
purpose of the cash flow is to get you more cash flow.
Yep.
And when it starts in the beginning, it's going to be a drip, right? I don't want to leak in my line. I want to run a line. If I have one flow of income coming in, I want to start running lines off of that. And it's going to start small. And I see so many people get disappointed in the beginning.
Yep.
And they talk about, oh, well, it's just, I'm only earning $50 from this other thing. It's $50 more than you were earning. That's $600 a year. Over the next 10 years, that'll be $6,000 that you didn't have that somebody else would have had. And that's how it starts. You know, my third stream of income turned into $1 billion business.
Yep.
Bigger
Absolutely.
than all the other companies, dude. It will last as long as the Nile River. It might outlast the Nile.
It possibly could, Gron. One of the things that you just mentioned, and staying on cash flow for a second, I just wanted to touch on this again because it's so important. Symbiotic flows. That one stream and then symbiotic flows from that stream, because you see a lot of entrepreneurs, they create this income source of this one flow, and then they try to recreate the wheel all of a sudden on the other side again, instead of looking for symbiotic flows off that one flow that they've created.
Yeah, so like you're fishing in Michigan, right? Lake Michigan. And then you're like, I'm going to start a new business, okay? And that business it's kind of similar. There's water involved, but it requires you to do something in the Atlantic. Dude, you can't surf two waves at one time. I mean, it's just, particularly in the beginning, right? And when you don't have money, you don't have stability, you don't have confidence, you don't have knowledge, you don't have connections, you don't have banks, you don't have people helping you.
Yep.
And this is why so few people end up with actually multiple flows, because they have the intention to get it. You know, it's a waiter.
Yep.
She's waiting tables, and she's making 40, 50 grand a year. She's got she's a single mother, and she's trying to take care of her kids. She's got great intentions, and she's waiting tables, and then she joins a network marketing company or starts doing something in the evenings from her home. And you know, after the first week, everything's cool. Then the next week, she's tired. Her tips are going down at her main gig. She starts hating her job more. She starts not liking the clients. Tips collapse. She starts showing up late for work because of the other second flow, right? It should have been symbiotic. The first flow and the second flow should really be almost like a hand and a glove. When I do this thing, if I'm a car salesman and I'm selling cars, right? Or I'm a plumber and I'm plumbing, or I'm a fireman and I'm a fire guy, right? Or I'm a real estate agent, I'm out doing real estate. The second flow should wrap your career. It actually should not in the beginning require more hours. It should be whatever you do in those 8 or 9 hours a day should affect that second flow, and they would fit together. Absolutely.
Let's touch on recession a little bit, because this is one thing we've spoken about for a while now too. You know, economy goes up and down. There's cycles. 7 to 10 years, there's a recession kicking in. This is something we have got our eye on, and I know you've been covering it quite a bit. What are you doing to prepare for the next recession, and to not only position yourself to be obviously profitable, but to crush it in the next one, and obviously profit from it?
Well, number one, most families in America are already in a recession. So,
yep,
you've been in a recession. Some of you have been in a recession for 10 years. Some people, you go into a recession, not much is going to change anyway. Yep. So it's unfortunate, but most people just don't pay attention to whether they're growing or not. If you've had 2 quarters of flat GDP or gross domestic sales, or in the case of a household, gross household sales, income, if it's flat, it's flat. I mean, most families are actually in a recession right now. Now, look, we might not have a real recession in America for 2 or 3 years, but when it comes, it's going to be an ugly wave. It's been 10 years now since the last, crash. There has to be adjustments. So what am I doing? Okay. Now, just so everybody understands, I am an extremely pessimistic person. I mean, I am overly cautious constantly. So I typically am wrong most of the time. So that being said, I work so hard for my money, like everybody works hard, right? But I work really, really hard for my money still today. And I don't want to lose it. I have my mission is tied to my money. I want to give away more charity when I'm years after I'm dead than even when I'm alive. I want to just keep giving money. So, to the recession question, I am preparing first of all, to be known everywhere. The best way to survive a recession is to not have money. It's to have omnipresence. You can have all the money you want. If nobody knows you, you're not going to be able to do any business with them, right? Like if you're the richest guy, and then all of a sudden you pop up a year after the recession. Hey, dude, I'm a rich guy. Everybody's going to be like, oh, here he comes bottom feeding. He's a bottom feeder is what he is. He's a damn thief. If this is the first time you're going to show up is when there's blood in the streets, look, you're not going to get your piece. So the most important thing in a recession is not money. It's people know you. Like if you watch me right now, watch how much we're working. I'm doing podcasts right now with you. Okay.
Yep.
I'm the one that went out and said, hey guys, anybody who wants to do a podcast with me, call me up. So you're going to see me just nuke planet Earth with podcast interviews, travel around the world. Anybody asks me to do an interview, I'm going to do it. Why? Because I'm trying to get known in every little corner. That's preparation for a recession. Second thing is, then I need to have my products where I can deliver to them at economic viability for the user. So I need to be the low. When you go into a recession, do you want to be the lowest cost provider? You want to nuke your competition out of existence because they didn't pay attention. And this is how a marketplace works. I mean, I know all that sounds ugly and terrible and everything, but I truly do want to, I want to dominate when other people can't do business. I know people are going to get scared. That's the other thing. Everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy stuff in the next recession. No, dude, no, you're not. If you're not buying stuff now, you won't have the courage to buy things later. If you can't buy stuff when things are good, you will definitely not buy things when things are cheap. And when you should be buying things, because you haven't practiced the courage muscle. And it takes courage to spend money. I made an offer. I'm trying to buy a deal here in the fourth thing I'll say is tied to real estate is that there's a shortage of affordable housing in America. Affordable apartments. All you got to do is don't ask people that are making 80 and 90 grand a year. Go ask the people that are making 30 and 40,000 what percentage of their income is going to rent. This is not going to change in America. Nobody will fix this problem. This will be a long-term problem. It happened in Europe years ago. You will see America become a renter nation. Yep. So I think like 80% of all the rents in America are like $1,000. Most people can't afford $1,000, believe it or not. So what I'm doing to prepare, dude, is to buy assets where I can provide people with housing at a cost where it doesn't kill them, and that when the recession happens, if it happens, who knows? Maybe it doesn't ever happen again. But just because you don't have a recession doesn't mean the guy that can pay $1,000 can pay $2,000 tomorrow.
Yeah, and to your point, I was just looking at the numbers coming out. Every week there's something new that it's not shocking, but you look at it and you go, wow, like half of people don't have any money for retirement. $1,000 emergency and you're basically out on the street. You get these numbers every single week and you look at it going like, we might be already far deep into a recession. We might be closer to depression if you look at the real numbers.
I don't even know if those words matter anymore because there's so much artificial money in the marketplace.
Yeah.
Most of which just goes to rich people. Okay. Look, the money in the marketplace. I just did a deal. I was trying to buy a deal here in Miami. The deal was probably worth $195 to $200 million.
Yep.
I made an offer on the deal. I went all the way to 205. The guy that got the deal, there was 5 people trying to buy the deal. I was the little guy, by the way. I'm the poor person on the deal. Just so everybody understands how much money is available right now. One deal in one little town in America. America's only like, a small portion, 1/20th of the population of the planet. The guy that outbid me by $4 million. I paid $10 million more than I thought it was worth, than I thought I was going to have to. I offered $10 million. It's a great asset. I wish I had it. He paid $4 million more. Why? I'm like, guys, how is he making sense of that deal? They're like, they're buying debt, meaning they need an asset. They need a big piece of property that because they got all this debt out here, they got to get money into the marketplace. They're trying to get rid of money. And so you see the little families in America that are, I don't mean the little families, I mean the everyday blue collar worker. They're not thinking about this.
Right.
They're thinking about debt for a car, debt for a house, which, by the way, you should be leasing the car and you should not own a house. That's why these Blackstones are so rich, because because little guys do stupid shit. Yep. And they never have the cash flow. So what I've been studying for the last, 25 years, dude, what are the big guys doing? I started like everybody else. I was lower middle class family. My mom, raised by a single mother. She had one flow of income, Social Security. Her only flow of income was government.
Right.
She was terrified every second of every day. Paid cash for everything, no debt, did everything Dave Ramsey said. We still didn't get ahead, man. She was still scared. And people shouldn't be scared about money. And look, these guys at Blackstone and Goldman Sachs, they're not scared about money. The only fear they have is, dude, somebody else is going to get the deal. Okay? The only fear they have is we have so much money, we want to own everything. So that's the shift that needs to happen now, whether we go into a recession or don't. People need to make this shift, this financial shift that the schools are not teaching and our parents couldn't.
Producers and creators are the sources of all value on the planet. MC Laubscher, the host of the top-rated business and investing podcast Cashflow Ninja, is on a mission with Producers Wealth to help producers create, protect, and multiply their wealth outside of Wall Street in any economy by creating systems and processes that help them increase their production, provides them with liquidity, passive income generators, and opportunities for enormous growth. Learn more about their time-tested and proven systems at yourownbankingsystem.com. That's yourownbankingsystem.com.
Let's touch on real estate with Cardone Capital. When did you start with your real estate journey? What was the process? Were there mentors that you had along the way and team members that expedited your success? And then,
I wish there would have been mentors. I mean, there probably were, dude. I just didn't ask for any help because I was too dumb. I didn't know that I could go. This is, I started doing real estate 25 years ago. There was no podcast. Today, Now you got, there's millions of experts today. So you didn't have the internet. 25 years ago, when I started doing real estate, there was no internet. The best thing you could get 25 years ago was a book. And I was so stubborn that I didn't even read a book. I'm like, I'm just going to go figure it out on my own. And that's fine. That's one way to do it. But if you try to figure it out on your own, you will always take longer than necessary.
Yep.
And it's worked out for me, but my mentor was deals. I looked at deals. I asked a lot of questions. I met a lot of real estate agents, and I walked a lot of property. My first deal was one unit. It was a house. It didn't work. It worked for 4 or 5 months, and then it didn't work. And fast forward 30 years now, my second deal was 38 units, I think, 38 units. But fast forward today, now we're doing deals that are, these are monster deals. I made so many mistakes along the way, man, it's unbelievable. Despite that, I got $1 billion, I've done, $1.5 billion worth of real estate, almost $1 billion in holdings right now. We opened this up to other investors about 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago. Because a lot of the people that know me and love me, family members, executives, people that work in my company, they were not qualified to invest with me because the way the rules are set up by the SEC.
Right.
So we created a company called Cardone Capital. It allows non-accredited and accredited investors to partner with me. Now, there's a big secret in America. I didn't know this until about 2.5 years ago. Okay. The little guy never sees the good deals.
Yep.
Actually, rich people never see the good deals either. The people that are getting all the good deals in real estate are the wealthiest companies in the world. It is not individuals. Okay, your doctor and your neighbor, the rich doctor or the car dealer in your city, you think he gets the good deals? He ain't getting the good deals. Okay, J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Blackstone, Deutsche Bank, these guys, the life insurance companies, the State Farms, the Allstate, the people with trillions of dollars, forget the billionaires. It's the trillionaires that are getting the deals. I didn't know this. 2 years ago, we started working with the SEC to get approval. I got approval to take money from accredited investors in 5 minutes. It took me 8 months to get approval to take money from my sister-in-law. Like, couldn't take money from her. By the way, she needs the money. She needs the investments I'm doing more than one of my rich buddies. So that's what we did with Cardone Capital. We're basically cutting Blackstone out. We're buying the same products they would buy. Like I was competing with that deal this weekend. We're buying the same things they buy, but offering them directly to people that follow me.
Is there any specific markets that you're looking at, Grant, and why? And what are some of the unit sizes?
Yeah, we shop all markets in America. Some are excluded just because they don't fit the bill. Anything with positive job growth. I mean, all you got to do is Google, where's the positive job growth in America? And then start thinking about where's it going to go? Where's it going to be in the future? We started looking at any kind of political decisions that are forcing people to move certain places. We also look at demographics that are forcing people. So things like Arizona, Alabama, Texas. I mean, Texas is like, you're just not going to stop it now. You got people coming from the south and the north.
There's mass migration. The
problem with a place like Atlanta would be good. Savannah, Georgia would be awesome. The Huntsville, Alabama, where Toyota's moving into. There could be some tech jobs going in there. Nashville, Alabama, anything, Florida. Why? Because what's happening is you have 80 million. Everybody talks about the millennials, but the baby boomer has the money. All the money in the universe is with the baby boomer. So you got 80 million people that will migrate south just because it's warm. One. Two, they will migrate south because they want to avoid taxes in New Jersey, Connecticut, New York. I mean, it's already happening.
Yep.
Right? They're leaving California. They're going over to Salt Lake City, Utah. You got Silicon Valley in Utah now because people are like, I can't pay. I can't. Facebook has to pay $250 a year in Silicon Valley for somebody to break even on the rent. They're like, we'll move to Utah. People can rent there for $1,000. We can pay them $100 and a quarter. Ski in the winter. So we're looking for those shifts. Also, we're becoming a renter nation. I said this earlier. It's not just millennials either. There's a prediction that suggests that 1/3 of the 80 million baby boomers in this country, which are primarily homeowners, will become renters. I believe that number's small. The millennial, like 51% of millennials are like, I just want to rent. It's not even about money. It's about lifestyle, choices, mobility, responsibility. It's not that millennials don't want responsibility. They don't want that responsibility. And I don't blame them.
Right.
Because they do want responsibility. Okay, you tell a millennial, hey, dude, would you like 50 grand to travel the world, or would you like a $50,000 car?
Yeah. They want to travel the world.
Give me the 50 grand, I'll travel the world. That's a responsibility, by the way, traveling the world with 50 grand.
Yep.
So I had a buddy of mine tell me, he's like, I offered my kid a car, and the kid's like, I don't want a car, I want an Uber account. He offered it to his nephew. He's like, I want an Uber account. He's like, yeah, these kids today, they don't want any responsibility. I'm like, yeah, dude, he wants responsibility. He just doesn't want the car, bro. You still got to be responsible. You can't get away from responsibility, right? It's just, things are changing in the way people live. People will not buy homes in the future the way we did and the way our parents did and the way our grandparents did. So
Absolutely.
That's why I created Cardone Capital, because I know with every fiber in my being, dude, this is going to prove out to be the strongest investment. It protects capital. Real estate protects your capital. 2, provides cash flow. 3, it depreciates. That's a tax advantage to you. While it depreciates on paper, it appreciates in the real world. So I can write it off with the IRS and then sell it to somebody for more money and make the difference. The guy that buys it from me is also going to write it down. This is the secret, like this big secret in the world. It's why Donald Trump doesn't want to show his taxes. Nobody can understand it, dude. How can 10 people buy the same asset and all write it off? Like it's been written off. I know real estate's been written off. Over $100 million has been written off, and it was only worth $8 or $9 million. You can't even make sense of it when I have this conversation with somebody.
Absolutely. No, and so many great points there, Grant, too. We're moving into a society where people want to use things, right? They want to use cars. They want to use houses. And we always say, own stuff that pays you. Yeah. Use the other stuff.
Look at how many affiliates. Look at the partnerships. People are just starting to pop up partnerships out of their homes. Why? People are willing to be used back and forth, right? The mobile phone. I need this phone. Phones didn't go back in the last recession. These are expensive, man. These are expensive little devices. They didn't go back.
Yep.
People did this. Here's the keys to my house. I don't want that.
They kept the phone.
And I'm keeping my plastic. They didn't give up their Starbucks card.
No, they certainly did not. Grant, our core message in our show is to leave our families, communities, and the world better than we found it by passing down a mindset, values, and principles to future generations, not just money. I kind of look at it as intellectual capital. If you look at how the wealthiest families operate, not only do they pass down the actual money, the capital, but also the intellectual capital. So if you cannot pass on any money to future generations, but we're only allowed to pass on 3 principles to them to build wealth and achieve happiness and success, what would they be?
Well, first, it's got to be the truth. You got to strip away the lies. I mean, you can't, there's no reason to add good data on top of bad data. First thing people have to do is they have to get rid of the lies. Like people, why are so many people poor? Why are so many people stuck? Why are so many people in a society where everybody has access to almost everything and almost all the same stuff? I mean, unless you're in a deprived third world country, you probably have access to the internet today. Yet so many people are suffering. Here in America, electricity, gas, water, education, internet, and people still don't do well. Freedom to do whatever you want. And I can show you people in America that are doing as poorly as people in a third world country that don't have toilets and electricity. Just a different level of a discomfort. Now somebody's going to say, wait a minute, man, come on. A guy in South Africa that's never seen, yeah, whatever, dude. Okay. He hadn't seen it in like his happiness and contentment level could actually be higher than the guy here. So first thing I would tell people is, look, you got to strip away the lies that are holding people down. Anytime you see this many people doing poorly, it is because the data they are operating with is incorrect. It's not because something's wrong with this many people. Right? So first thing you'd have to do is strip away the data. You're not doing well because you have the wrong information. You're lazy. You're operating as though you're lazy because something's wrong. Right? People are telling you you're depressed. They're telling you you're unhappy. They're telling you that you got a disease. None of this existed years ago. 100 years ago, people weren't telling the cowboy that he worked too much as he built his fence around his ranch. He worked from morning till night, by the way. He worked 12-hour days, not 8-hour days. Nobody was calling him a work addict. They called him a rancher, dude, that was responsible for taking care of his family. Today, you're going to be labeled something for building a wall around a fence around your ranch. So number one, I would teach people, I would try to strip away the lies. 2, definitely talk to people about the importance of money. You need money, man. I'm going to go on this gig to Singapore and Malaysia. I guarantee they're going to love my message. Because the Asians love money. Oh, no, what's the word? Coincidence that Asians in America have more money in the bank, more equity in their homes, and earn higher salaries than any other single group, including white people. So the third thing I would do is I would talk to people about the 10X rule and how much action and expectation it takes to make any single thing happen.
Absolutely. Grant, this has been phenomenal to have you on, my friend, and connecting. Appreciate you. Appreciate everything that you do. Thank you so much for coming on the show and providing so much value for my listeners and my viewers. Where can folks reach out to you? Where can they follow you? And where can they get in touch with your team at Cardone Capital?
GrantCardone.com or CardoneCapital.com. You can find out everything you want to know about me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much again.
Cashflow Ninja, thank you for being you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate you.